What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 8 of the Milwaukee Brewers Out of the Park Baseball 25 series. This camera is way crooked. Okay, there we go. Now we're here. And it is May 31st, 2027. We're in year 4 of the save now. After a big shakeup this offseason. Kind of going through and getting rid of some old-time players, those being Freddie Peralta, William Contreras, and rebuilding this team. And, we're off to a so-so start, 27 and 26. We're second in runs scored, 6 in runs against. So, theoretically, we should be a better team. I haven't actually gone in and looked at our run differential or anything, our expected records. Yeah, we have a plus 21 run differential, which would be third in the division, but third best in the NL and one of the best in baseball, of all the playoff teams. I guess the AL East is stacked this year. Look at all these positive run differentials. The AL Central sucks. The Royals, wow. Very interesting. But, yeah, I think we're a better team than a fourth-place squad. Us and the Pirates are basically tied. We have much better run differential than them, and I don't even think a lot of guys have gotten off their quality of starts. Let's start with the hitting. Juan Soto doing his thing. He's been awesome. On pace for almost 6 WAR. We've luckily been able to get him out of the outfield a little bit more. He's played about half his games in right field this season. Not a good defender out there, obviously. But in 53 games, he's been hitting the ball really, really well. He's been excellent. No complaints there. Andy Pages, what a pickup this has been, man. Nearly 300 average. I don't know if that's sustainable. He has a 361 BABIP. Again, don't think the average is sustainable, but I definitely think he'd hit 30 home runs and a 154 WRC plus. If he hits in the 120s, I'd be psyched. He's been playing a lot of right field. Him and Soto have essentially split time, but definitely has been the better defender out there. So I am mixing him in now every day in right field, as opposed to having Soto out there some of the time. He's just not a good defender. So Pages will get the job until he starts to suck. Jackson Chourio is off to a great start this season. The walk rate is down to 5%. I think if that ticks up, he's definitely a guy who can sustain this 151 WRC plus stuff. He is fragile now, but playing a good left field. He did miss some time. He went out with a fractured foot, missed 3 to 4 weeks. Probably wound up missing closer to 4 or 5. He went on a short rehab assignment, so it's probably about 4 weeks. But yeah, he's been great when he's been out there, but has dealt with some injuries. Really unfortunate for him, but he's back now. Brock Wilken, off to a really good start, 121 WRC+. Killing it over at first base. He's been doing this for like a year and a half now. Carlos Correa off to an excellent start as well, 116 WRC+, with a BABIP under 300. Definitely think this is sustainable. Not really sure what happened last year with him. The walk rate was way down at 6%, probably a career 8% guy. Realistically, he's up to almost 12% this year. Don't expect he'll sustain that, but still a really good defender over at shortstop. He's been great. CJ Abrams has slowly but surely worked his way into the everyday lineup. Now pretty much our third baseman every day. Has pushed McMahon kind of out of our plans. McMahon missed some time at the beginning of the year. We'll get to that. But CJ Abrams has been excellent when he's been out there. Has definitely fallen back to earth after a great start. His April 122 WRC plus. May was just really good with the 100 WRC plus. With he brings speed, he brings some defense. Has been fine over there at third base, so definitely not a negative. And we may as well get to Ryan McMahon, who lost his starting job after getting hurt 3 games into the year. Missed 3 to 4 weeks, suffered a setback. He missed a ton of time. He's only played 16 games this year. Has not been good in those games. So Abrams has kind of just taken over that third base spot. He's batting leadoff for us against righties. He's in the lineup every day against lefties for now. Until he starts to suck, we'll keep riding with him. Jefferson Kiro, once again, a good season. Nothing spectacular, but he's been exactly a league average hitter pretty much throughout his career. On pace for 3.5 WAR. Looks like his defense has improved. It definitely has. After pretty middling season last year, only 3.8 framing runs through 124 games. He's already hit that number through 42 this year. So definitely been much better with the glove. Matthew Wood's been a nice surprise. The numbers don't look great. He hasn't really played too much, but a really good walk rate. He's a backup catcher, so we'll take whatever we can get, but he's definitely been serviceable back there. Christian Yelich, it's been another tough season for him after a rough year last year. He's kind of just toast, but we're going to keep running him out there every once in a while, but he has lost all of his starting playing time to Andy Pages at this point. Not starting against righties. He's mixing in a little bit. Maybe we can put him every 6th game, but he's just not a usable player at this point, the way that he's been playing, unfortunately. And Noelvi Marte off to a tough start this season after a great year last year. The numbers on the year don't look great, but he was a huge part for us in that first half. And then as the team kind of struggled in the second half, he also struggled. So, we definitely need a little bit better from him, but it's still early in the year. We're about a third of the way through the season. Not going to panic yet, but has not been good. Then Trenton Grisham, we picked him up in the offseason as kind of a minor league flyer. Kind of had a feeling that, Churio might get hurt. It's always good to have one of these defenders on the minor league roster, and he's been serviceable. He got off to a really nice start. When we first called him back up, has struggled recently. You can see the last few games, his OPS has dropped almost 100 points, but he's a good defender out in center field. Has been really good out there in 17 games. That definitely has value, and he's left-handed bat. So we're playing him and our kind of as a platoon. Churio moves into center field against lefties, and we may as well go to Mason Hour. He hasn't been very good. I haven't really set him up for success at all, so I can't completely fault him. We'll give him a little bit more time. He's a Rule 5 pick, so if he sucks, we can just release him, but would like to give him a shot. Definitely want him stealing a ton, though. Let's go. And then Ryan McMahon, we went over him. Other guys who have been up with the majors, Daniel Guarte was up for a little bit. He played really well, but just didn't need him for a long period or anything. Yohan Rojas was up when Churio got hurt. He sucked through 16 games. Has crushed AAA, though, so he'll get another shot, but his chances are waning. He has one more option year after this. Luis Lara, another guy I want to give a shot to. He's definitely improved to be like a legit player for us maybe in the future. Maybe a 4th outfielder type. I don't know if he'll ever be a star or starter, but can definitely be a role player for us. And Eduardo Quintero finally hitting at high A. Through 200 plate appearances, he's been really good. And I think I'm comfortable calling him up to Double A at this point. He's got a lot of reps under his belt at high A. Let's see what he can do in Double A. I haven't gone through and done any of that stuff yet. Promotions, demotions with the minors. Noah Miller was up. He was starting at shortstop for us for a little bit. Was Correa hurt? Someone was hurt. Or maybe, it was when McMahon was hurt. So we were playing around with a platoon with Abrams and Noah Miller. Miller, unfortunately, just can't hit. So his value is very capped with his defense. But, I still have faith that he can be a role player. Same with Guarte here. Juan Baez has been killing it in high A. He's gotten a good amount of reps there now. It wasn't good last year in that level, so we repeated him. But he's proven he's ready for Double A. So we'll call him up as I'm kind of looking at the 40-man here. Luke Adams is a guy who didn't crack the AAA roster. I just had too many guys there. He's getting up there in age. I mean, he's 23. The power has just been sitting there, has not gotten to the 60 level, but has played well in Double A. So we're going to give him another shot in AAA. We'll look at that roster afterwards to see what kind of moves we can make. So, that's all the hitters. Vera hasn't been up with the team yet. Hasn't played well in AAA either. And then the pitching. The pitching's been... we're having similar issues that we've had in the past. Let's put it that way. George Kirby, the win-loss stuff doesn't look good. He's 3-7. But he's pitching deep into games. He's given us a ton of innings. He's just been the tough luck loser in a bunch of games. Like, he went 7 innings, 2 runs, took the loss. 7 innings, 2 runs, took the loss. 7 innings, 4 runs, so ate a lot of innings. Wasn't the best start, but only got 1 run for him. Wound up taking the loss in that one. And that's been kind of the story of his season. Still have the utmost faith in him that he's going to turn things around here. DL Hall, he's kind of looking like an every other year guy. I mean, he was great last year. We, had the confidence to let Freddie Peralta go, thinking that DL Hall would be our number 2. And he's just not been that so far. And we really need him to turn things around, or this rotation is going to be in serious trouble. Because we haven't been able to figure out a 5th starter. We think Bradley Blaylock might be it. He's made 5 starts, and the numbers don't look good. But it's mostly blown up by this one game where he gives 6 runs in 3 1/3. He pitched really well in this one, 8 innings, 3 runs. He wasn't horrible in these 2 starts, and left this game with an injury after just 4 pitches. So I think he might be a 5th starter. We'll see. But Walker Buehler was a disaster. You see the numbers, a 9 ERA in 36 innings. The FIP is about league average, though, which is why I haven't cut him quite yet. But as a starter, man, 9.5 ERA through 4 starts. As a reliever, he has not been much better. Actually, worse in a lot of regards. You see his FIP minus is 60, ERA plus 46. Like, that's just unlucky, or he's given up a ton of hard contact. Unfortunately, OOTP doesn't have exit velocity, so we can't really tell what's going on with him, but I'm going to give him a little bit more leeway here and see what he can do, mostly because we don't have any other options in the pen. But Tanner Bybee's definitely been solid. He's been about a league average hitter, or league average pitcher. Well, I guess in 2025 he was really good in that half season when you traded for him. But last year was a league average pitcher, a little bit better actually, and this year he's been about the same, so definitely take that. And then the big story, Gavin Stone, man, he's been excellent. We sent him to the lab this offseason. He excelled in his movement, and he's looking like a total steal with the 70 overall, 70 potential. We have him under control for multiple seasons. I think maybe 3 more after this. And, getting him and his and steal was just crazy. And then we also got Brian Wu and Alex Vesia. We'll get to them in a second. They haven't been really good, but check out Alex Mazurski here. Jacob Mazurski. I was thinking Alex Vesia. He's just jumped into the starting rotation. Having similar problems with walks, striking out a bunch of guys. Hasn't been necessarily great. But overall in the year, he's been good. So Dodgers got a good player in him. William Contreras has barely played, unfortunately for him. Maybe a guy they look to deal him. Maybe we can get him back. I don't know. We'll see. Seems a little cheesy, but then Coleman Crowe wound up getting released. We talked about that. I think he's not with the Padres, pitching in the major league squad, and this guy Herrera still in their roster. But looking like a great trade to get those 2 dudes in that deal. And then the bullpen. This has been a perpetual issue throughout this save, and it really hasn't changed this year. Abner Uribe has newly been put into the closer role. He's been awesome this year. The FIP indicates he's probably not this good, like ERA under 1, but he's still been really good according to FIP. Obviously, the results have been excellent. Gabe Spire, another nice season. Last year was a little up and down, especially the second half was rough. But this year, the peripherals look great. 10 Ks to under 2 walks per 9. Not giving up the home run ball like he did last year, which is a huge issue. And he's been good. Trevor McGill continues to struggle, and I think things are going to turn around because he can't be this bad, but he has been really, really bad, and he hasn't been good for 3 seasons now, since 2024 and his big breakout year. He has not been anything special, just kind of a dude. So maybe he's a guy we look to deal. I don't know if he just definitely has some good value. But I mean, we're going to be dealing out of basically nothing in this pen because Brian Wu hasn't been good. Was good enough to start. I actually moved into the closer's role and gave him 5 runs here in 2/3 of an inning. As everyone that I throw in the closer role he struggled. I still think better days are ahead for him, but results have been up and down. Edward Cabrera has been a nice little player for us. The home runs have been a problem. And the BABIP is really low, so maybe he's getting a bit lucky, especially according to FIP. I mean, 132 FIP minus. But the results have been okay. But I am expecting some regression pretty soon. And then Brian Abreu very quickly lost his closer's role. Lost a ton of velo this offseason. Just doesn't look like the guy we signed, unfortunately. And, there's always a risk these guys fall off, but he's only 30. Like, it's just very, very shocking that his stats fell off that quick. The FIP still indicates he's a better than league average pitcher in a neutral environment, but yeah, he's been pushed to a middle relief role for now. And then Alex Vesia, just way too many home runs. And this was the same problem he had last year, which causes ERA to balloon. He's basically been the same pitcher that he was last year. Again, I just got to hope things turn around for him because, we don't have many other options. And Patricio Aquino, a guy I want to get up at some point, but just have not had an opportunity for him. Carlos Rodriguez hasn't been up either. Another guy who we can give an opportunity to, Chase Silseth, has been pretty good in AAA. But I gave Bradley Blaylock the nod in that starting role over him. And then we can get to some injuries. So Garrett Mitchell, we excluded him earlier. That was kind of just because I forgot he was on the injured list. But he was excellent to start the season. He'll be back in a day. It wasn't a major injury or anything. It was 4 weeks, so he missed about a month. When he was out there, he was awesome. So he'll be back in just a few days. And still have Reagans, Flaherty, Eli Morgan. These guys are still out. So, So I guess that's about it. Liam Peterson, our first-round pick from last year, starting the year in A-ball again, hasn't been necessarily impressive. I did screw up his control, of course, in the offseason. He's hurt right now for a couple weeks. I hope he's on the IL. Okay, he is. That's good. So they're not pitching him. Juan Gallardo's still he's in the Dominican League, hasn't started yet. Same with Cabral. Luke Holman in AAA this year has been really good, and he's definitely a guy who's going to compete for a rotation spot if things go south with some of these guys like Hall and maybe Blaylock regresses, or I think was there one more guy? Yeah, that's pretty much it. But if one of those guys regresses, Holman has the next look. Maybe after Silseth. Luis Lar, we talked about him for a little bit. Josh Noth, off to a great start. Got a cup of coffee in AA last year. 4 starts, whatever. But this year in AA, he was really good. He's been really good. And, looking like he might be up to AAA sooner rather than later. Jayden Melendez, who was once a top 200 prospect, has struggled this year at the plate in AAA. I think he might just be tired of playing in AAA at this point, or wants to be up in the majors, so he's kind of struggling. Juan Baez, we talked about him. He was killing it in high A. Sean Gamble in A-ball. He was a first-round pick back in 2025. Has not been good for him. He's 20 years old. Maybe we rushed him a little bit, but his rating should be good enough to at least hold his own in A-ball. And this is like a stat line for like the very worst pitcher, or like a relief pitcher over a full season. So, yeah, it has not been good. Not been good for Gamble. But we're going to keep rolling with him at that level for now. Looks like Rodriguez is dealing with an injury, post-concussion syndrome, which I had, and I know it sucks. So, hoping he has a good recovery. He'll be back in 5 weeks, allegedly. was having a nice year in high A and could definitely be called up to double A soon after he returns. Jorge Quintana hasn't been up. We talked about Quintero. Excited for him. Maverick Rizzi is in high A. He was a 4th-round pick in 2024. He's been he's been okay for a 22-year-old in high A. Nothing special, but nothing bad either. Matthew Wood, he's up at the majors. And then Hagen Smith, man. Need to get him on this team. He's been great. His ratings look awesome. I think he can definitely pitch out of the pen for us right now. Yeah, 100%. Like, he might get called up today. But we're not going to rush anything. And that's pretty much everyone else who's played at this point. Yeah, so 27-26, 4th place in the NL Central. And we'll be back probably around the draft or so. We'll see. Okay, so we're back. It is July 11th, and a pretty good month. We now sit at 50-39 in 2nd place in the NL Central. Check out our month of June, 18-8. We were really, really good. Wow, we got Garrett Mitchell back, and it really flipped this offense into overdrive. So far in July, 4-5. Hasn't quite been as good. George Kirby has really, really struggled. Uncharacteristically, especially with the home run ball, which is interesting. I think that'll come back to earth and hopefully be better, but yeah, it was not a good stretch of games for him. DL Hall, I'm now limiting his pitch count to 75. He just has not been good. He's shown glimpses recently, but overall in the year, the numbers have looked pretty ugly. Tanner Bybee was on a nice run. Just got blown up in this game against Baltimore, though. Gavin Stone continues to be really good. Had this one really bad game. 7 runs in 4 2/3. Besides that, he's been lights out this year. And then Walker Buehler's back in the rotation. Bradley Blaylock just was getting lit up, kind of. Just an abysmal start here. Maybe he still has a future as a bullpen arm, but I don't really know if he's going to work as a starter. And we did finally call up Hagen Smith, who was just killing it in AAA. Couldn't really keep him down any longer. He'll move into the bullpen for now. Maybe become a starter sooner rather than later. But he'll be in the bullpen to start. Trevor McGill, man, oh my God. As soon as I think it was like the game after, it was June 11th. 6 runs, didn't get a single out, walked 3, gave up 3 hits, just absolutely brutal. Inflated his ERA, almost 3 points. He's been working his way back from that, but he's just not consistent at all. But the rest of the bullpen has kind of fallen into place, I guess. Uribe has been okay as the closer. Definitely better than anything else we've gotten this year out of that spot. Gabe Spire continues to be really solid. Edward Cabrera has had a nice little year. Had one bad game here, but besides that, he's been good. At least the results have been good. Brian Wu has been pretty solid as a middle relief guy. Brian Abreu has settled in. He's been okay. Alex Vesia has gotten the home runs under control just a bit. Still not consistent, but he's been fine. And I think these guys will get better. Maybe not McGill. I don't really know what to do with him at this point. He wasn't really like his numbers were okay last year, but just not really doesn't really have it. And then the offense. I mean, they continue to play really well. Although guys have fallen off a bit. But we got a great performance in the month of July out of Jefferson Kiro. I guess the end of June and July, 120-ish WRC plus in that month. I guess I should be counting all of June. 125 WRC plus so far in July has been really good as well. And then we have Juan Soto still playing really well. 154 WRC plus is the full-time DH at this point. Jackson Churio has been awesome. On pace for 5.5 WAR and just on pace for 106 games. He'll probably finish in like the 120 range, but did miss some time that kind of held back his counting stats, but still on pace for 25 homers. Really, really good season from him. Andy Pages has fallen off a bit, but as the BABIP's kind of stabilized at around 300, his numbers haven't fallen off too much. 141 WRC plus. Still has an OPS over 900. On pace for 35 bombs. He's still been really good. Garrett Mitchell's been awesome, as he's kind of been throughout pretty much this entire save, I guess you can say. Minus a subpar 2025. But he's been great. Brock Wilken, has been even better than he started off the year. A 136 WRC plus. Has started hitting the home run ball a little bit more. On pace for 35. He's just a really, really good ball player. Matthew Wood has emerged as a really nice backup catcher. The defense has ticked up just a bit, at least from what I can tell. Maybe he was always at that, but he's a playable backup catcher defensively and a really good bat. Carlos Correa has continued to have a really good year, on pace for 4.8 WAR. Really good defender over at shortstop still. Nothing else to say about him. CJ Abrams has still been really good. Did miss a little bit of time. He missed about a week. And that gave us an opportunity to call up another guy, which we'll get to in a second, who's been crushing in AAA. Christian Yelich, he's actually been fine. 89 WRC plus is our backup outfielder / DH / not really a full-time player anymore, but he'll play a little bit. He's not happy, but whatever. We're kind of stuck with him for this year and next year. If he doesn't get cut before then, which I probably won't do. Noelvi Marte just kind of struggled. Has not hit any home runs really this year, which has killed his OPS. Everything else looks pretty similar to last year, but just no power. Trent Grisham, honestly, a fine backup outfielder. 64 WRC plus, but a good defensive center fielder. That's kind of that mo on him at this point. And then Ryan McMahon has just been really, really bad this season, after a rough year last year as well. So I'm not really sure what's in store for him. He'll probably be off the team by the deadline. And then we did call up a few guys. We called up Johan Rojas. Had a nice couple games, but wasn't really anything special. He's still a sub 200 hitter on the year in the majors. But we called up Eduardo Garcia, who doesn't look too flashy or anything, but he's 25 years old. He played 5 games up in the majors, and, he played really freaking well. Struck out a bit much, but he was killing it in AAA. 136 WRC plus down there. I just felt like giving him opportunity over some of our other guys. It would have been Daniel Guarte, but he was out with a fractured wrist. It's his second injury he's dealt with this year. He's now fragile. But he would have been the guy, but he was hurt at the time. So we called up Eduardo Garcia when, what's his name? Our third baseman, what the heck is his name? CJ Abrams went out. Bradley Blaylock sent him down. We talked about that. That's about it. So we're going to get into the draft here. So we have the 30th pick. It's like a bunch of comp picks for guys who didn't sign. And is this like the first good draft, or is that not? Yeah, this looks like a pretty good draft. Oh yeah, this is the first fictional one. You could always tell. Just studs like this. So let's jump into it. We have the 30th pick, so we'll see what's available at that point. I would be shocked if Garth Hinksman was not the first guy off the board, and he is. Great pick for the former Oakland A's, now the Oakland Fighting Falcons. Dude's going to be a stud, no doubt about that. So we'll send him to our pick, and just going to look at some older guys, see what we got. Billy Arnold, that's not a great sign. That's the first, this guy's nothing special, first college guy on the board. So it's looking like probably going to have to go high school, although I like this guy quite a bit. The stamina is a little lacking, has no intelligence, but he's pretty good. David Aguilar, ooh, okay. Okay, David. Really nice player. He's a leader, good range, pretty good bat. So I like that quite a bit. catcher here. He's nothing special. Other reliever. This guy's nothing special. He's okay, though. Steve Campbell, no defense. Now we're getting some more college guys. Ian Cassidy, nice defender. We have a couple of those types in the minors, though. Robbie Chase, just a reliever with that stamina. Chris Cook, yeah. Now we're getting to questionable range for a guy I would take at this point. But it's worth a look. Bob Jenkins is fine. This guy Jones is okay. This guy's a really nice reliever. Not going to be a first-round pick, but wow, I mean, this is my type. Pretty well-rounded, 4-pitch guy, fastball, slider, changeup, sinker, decent pitch mix. Another guy who lacks stamina, though, but has the work ethic. Definitely a guy I would consider. We do have a comp pick. I'm not sure what pick it is, but it should be pretty soon. Ooh, Pete Munn. Yeah, dude. 75 framing. Yeah, I like Pete Munn quite a bit. So we'll keep him in the back of our mind. It might be a little early for him, though. Kevin Osborne, another one of these guys that I love. This guy's a 6-pitch guy. Curveball, slider, changeup, splitter, cutter, knuckle curve. Sick pitch mix. I think he'd be a 5th starter. I mean, I think there's a little bit more upside there, but, that's just our scout's opinion, I suppose. Yeah, okay. I mean, I like a lot of guys down here in like the 50s, 55s. But, I mean, it's worth looking at these high school guys for sure. Chris Little, not much there, in my opinion. Danny Sargent, I mean, this dude could be absolutely sick with that stamina, that stuff. Fastball, changeup, sinker, cutter, does not have an out pitch, really, which is unfortunate. In my opinion, kind of caps his ceiling. He's also a high schooler, so obviously his floor is dangerously low. What's that guy's demand? He's pretty low. Okay. 3-pitch guy, not my type. Mitch Brady, nice player, but no eye. Dan Diefer is really nice. Jeremy Westbrook, 3-pitch guy, no out pitch. This guy's okay. Bob Biggs, nice arm, but not any better than the other guys that we looked at. Bad work ethic, bad intelligence for Jimmy Burks. Joel Burns is a really nice player. Like the eye, like the power, full package, offensive package here. That didn't really make any sense, but it's just a reliever. Steve Schultz, no defense. Chris Snyder's pretty good. Don't hate him. There's a couple offense-only guys. Nate Moore's got a decent floor for an 18-year-old. Another guy with no out pitch. Fastball, sinker, cutter, changeup. Not really my type. I mean, I really like some of those college guys they were looking at. Just considering the floor, and guys that can, potentially make an impact in the next year or so. Man, this guy's pretty good too. Dusty Ledford. I like the floor for the 18-year-old. He's a little small, only 5'11", 170. Lacks the stamina. But it has the work ethic, intelligence that we like. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup, sinker. So definitely has some out pitches. The curveball can be a plus pitch. The rest of his pitches are more average. But I like the floor as an 18-year-old for sure. Dusty Ledford. Amari Shabazz. Why do I feel like I've taken him before? Maybe I have. This guy's a pretty good pitcher, man. I really like him. Okay. So, first year player draft. Let's go back. I think we're going to go with one of these college guys. just my personal preference of dudes that I like. So Ramiro Viduri, he lacks the intelligence, but everything else is right up my alley. You know, this upside kind of reminds me of Gavin Stone. I mean, multiple pitch guy, has the good movement, decent control, good enough stuff to make it through. Very similar guy. His slider, curveball, changeup, splitter, cutter doesn't really have a plus pitch. Probably not going to be a big strikeout guy. But I do like him quite a bit. Caden Donahue, don't love him. Just to sort this by college guys, make this a little easier. And so those were the dudes that I liked a little bit more. So, okay. So Viduri, we'll go with that as pronunciation. His only holdback is the intelligence and the stamina. That stuff can be worked on. Although the endurance training is pretty tough in this game. We're also on all players. David Aguilar was the other guy I really liked offensively. This is like kind of a Garrett Mitchell replacement, although he's a righty. So, I mean, those two can play on the same field. He doesn't look like he has any crazy splits yet, which is definitely a good thing. Also has some pitching stats. Just kidding. I thought that was pitching. That is offense. But I like David Aguilar. Where's that catcher? It wasn't Ian Cassidy. It was Pete Munn. Yeah, that's the guy. I like him as maybe a second round dude. So Viduri. This guy a 19-year-old college dude? JUCO freshman, okay. It's hardly college, but whatever. So were those the only guy? Okay, this guy was really nice too. Maga Lanes. Throws a little bit harder than the other guy we were looking at. Maybe not as much upside, just because his stats, the movement and control are a little bit lower. The stuff is about the same. The pitches are a little bit better, though. Has the work ethic, which is always nice. 6'5", 225, good build. I'm not going to look at college stats too much, but, he didn't really blow me. Doesn't really blow me away. Okay, so I think we can at least narrow it down to... Kevin Osborne, too. Yeah, this is the guy I liked. Although I feel like his upside might be... I don't know. He's kind of the best of both worlds with those guys, though. I don't know. Has some really good pitches. Slider, curveball, splitter. Yeah, I mean, really like that. Really like that. Who's our scout think? They think Sam Zaher. Yeah, theoretically he can be good, but... Okay. So it's Viduri. 6'2", 200. Has kind of everything I'm looking for. The home runs, the control, the stuff is good enough. Has the 5 pitches. None of them really plus. And then the other guy, David Aguilar, has the defense, has the upside with the bat. Is our farm system kind of pitcher or hitter heavy? We took Liam Peterson in the first round last year, which makes me not want to go pitcher again. And, we went Luke Holman the year before. The 17th pick, so maybe it's time to go hitter. But also, you don't draft for need. I don't know if Aguilar has enough upside with the bat. If you take away the gap power, he's very average to below average, and the defense, it's good, but you can find 70 range guys. So I think we can narrow Aguilar out. I'm going to go with one of these pitchers, I think. Okay, so it's going to go down to Viduri. Verduri, Osborne, and who the heck was the other one? Damn it. Verduri. Wasn't him. I keep clicking on him. It's definitely not him. Mengele, okay. A little bit better build. High work ethic. Better pitches. Fastball, slider, changeup, sinker. Doesn't have quite as many out pitches. Has a low demand, though. Viduri is a little higher. It's not a huge deal. Then Kevin Osborne has a lot of pitches, has the work ethic, good build, 6'4", 200. And he's only a slot guy. You know what? I'm going to go Viduri. He just has kind of the total package. Has a bunch of good pitches. None of them great, but I think we can work on that. Does lack the intelligence, which concerns me. But let's go with Ramiro Viduri, our first round pick, under slot. And we will have the third pick in the supplemental round, so we have to wait like 7 or 8 picks. We'll see who's there. So, Pete Munn's still here. We will have the 27th pick in the next round. So Kevin Osborne, still a guy who's on the board. Mengele's still on the board as well. I might double up and take another one of these dudes. Fastball, slider, changeup, sinker. Very similar guy. Kevin Osborne has a bit better of a floor just because of all of his pitches. Slider, curveball, changeup. Yeah, I'm really intrigued by that pitch mix. They think he can be a 5th starter ceiling. Magallanes. Settle at the end of the rotation. Yeah. I'm intrigued by this OSA stuff. My scout is pretty good, so something just tells me to take Magallanes. David Aguilar is here, though. Line drive hitter, extreme pull, good speed, leader. Let's go Aguilar. I'm going Aguilar. And let's see where the board fell. I know I'm only looking at college guys, by the way, but damn, so the catcher went. That sucks. I was really looking at him here. Ian Cassidy's here. I don't like him quite as much. Magallanes is here, though. Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about him last round. Why the hell not right now? And all these dudes way under slot, too, which is excellent. Okay, now we can go look at everyone on the board. So Chris Little's still a guy who's here. I mean, Danny Sargent seems too good to pass up at this point, even if he does have his deficiencies. Fastball, changeup, sinker, cutter. I mean, that's a tough pitch mix, though. Maybe it works. I don't know. Maybe it works. The home runs can develop. He has a decent floor. I shouldn't just excuse a guy like Pat Shreve, but these low avoid K guys have burned me. I like this guy. High work ethic, high intelligence. But again, I feel like these guys, you can find these guys in the draft. This dude looks like a freaking baller. Doesn't have the defense, but the bat can stick in a corner. is Sam Zahar actually might be just a better version of that. They want me to take him. It scares me that these guys are available this late, though. It just makes me like kind of know that they're gonna bust. Ben Negus, side armor. All right, I'm gonna hop off. I think I'm gonna take Danny Sargent though. I mean, it's good value here in the third round. He's above slop. That's fine. We've gone below on the other picks. I mean, Sam Zahar still being here is crazy. Although I really like this Murdoch. I don't even know how you say that. Wish he had a nickname. Damn. Dude could be a total stud if he worked out. I just don't think he will. Okay. You know what? Let's go Sam Zahar. Why not? And one last pick here. Murdoch was one of the guys that I liked. Any other good college players out here? Maybe we'd considered in past picks. Steve Campbell, if you got that range up a little bit, he can be a stud at second base. Don't really see it, though. Jared Allen, just like such a mediocre ceiling, but a nice floor. Really safe pick. All right, you know what? I'm gonna go off and do the rest of the draft off camera. Take my time with this, and we'll come back and show you guys the results. Alrighty, so we went through the first 4 rounds, I think. We want to take in Murdoch Bychik. Let's go with Bychik. Here in the 5th round. The guy I was looking at earlier has good upside. Tommy Vargas, really liked him as a high floor 18-year-old. Not a ton of defense, but if that range ticks up to a 55, you're talking about a really good offensive second baseman potentially. And if not, he could stick at first base possibly. Stefan Gallman, nice high floor 21-year-old. Not much defense, but the bat is intriguing enough for a high floor guy. And then Jared Allen, the guy I was looking at earlier, not an exciting upside guy, but good defense. Could be a super utility guy or something maybe. We took Steve Clancy, a high school pitcher. Took Aiden Cleggett, a nice high floor 22-year-old catcher. He'll slot right into A-ball. Rocky McKendry, a good floor for a 19-year-old. Not a ton of defense, but enough where I feel okay with him. Omari Shabazz, just really, really intriguing tools. Although he doesn't have the stamina, he has work ethic intelligence. You know, there might be something here. He's a smaller guy, so maybe won't throw hard, but could be something. Took Jim Gross, a nice high floor catcher with some intriguing upside at the bat and good defense as well. Dave Boone, college reliever. We took Jerry Keys, high school reliever, but pretty well along. Chris Jordan, another reliever. Mike Cooper, another reliever. Mike Doss, reliever, and reliever. So we took a bunch of guys. It's one of our weaknesses in our farm system, I think, is having like legit relievers. So we got those guys at the end of the draft. So that's where we stand here in July. Definitely some moves to be made. You know, in the infield, we could definitely use a backup infielder, but I do like some of the guys we have. Goularte, I'd love to get up here at some point. That probably means moving out McMahon. I think we have enough infield depth where I feel confident. Even if there was an injury, we'd be fine. And then in the outfield, we're pretty set as long as everyone stays healthy. I don't love Trent Grisham, but he's a capable enough fourth outfielder. Christian Yelich can step in. He's not completely washed yet. Soto can move into the outfield if we need it. Then the infield, C.J. Abrams, do we get a legit third baseman and move Abrams to a utility role? That could be an option. Noelvi Marte hasn't necessarily been good. So maybe we look for an upgrade at second base. So, second base, third base, we can look for guys there. Pitching-wise, always going to need bullpen help on this team, it seems. Trevor McGill, probably closer to throwing his last pitch than he is his first pitch in the save. I just don't really know what to do with him. But maybe it turns things around the next 2 weeks and he stays on this team. I don't know. We definitely need a fifth starter. I don't know if Walker Buehler is going to cut it. DL Hall also hasn't been very good. So, it makes sense to maybe bring in 2 starters here, move Hall to the bullpen, or maybe Hagen Smith moves to the rotation, or what the heck's his name? Luke Holman, maybe you call him up and move him to the rotation. He's been good in AAA. There's a couple different ways we can go with this. It's really going to depend on what's available. So we'll check the trade block here. Logan Webb, unfortunately, out for the year. That would have been a nice target. Jordan Montgomery, another guy, but he's out for the year. Mackenzie Gore is going to be a free agent. Having a spectacular season. Definitely a dude on my radar. Duran, he's a free agent after the year. Could bring him in. His FIP is questionable, but he's a good arm. Got some, like the next tier down of relievers, like Henches. Justin Lawrence has been excellent the past few years. He's really been a rock star this entire save. So a guy we can look to target. He's under control for another year, it looks like. AJ Minter having a rough season, but we've had some good luck with these reclamation-type projects. Robert Stevenson having a nice bounce-back year. Really been spectacular for San Francisco. He's under contract for another year, though. Got a couple other guys here. So the pitching is very reliever-heavy, but you got Mackenzie Gore at the top. Other starters we can look at. Tyler Glasnow doesn't really... he's not bad. Wosuk Go, I guess, is a starter now, apparently, for Cleveland. Not doing too bad. AJ Puck, that guy who's been on the trade block for a few years now for San Diego. He's just fragile, but he's been a fine enough pitcher this year. Kobe Allard, he's a guy I've been offered a few times in deals. Doesn't really do anything for me. Michael Grove, another guy, not too exciting. Frankie Montas is out for the year again. Okay, then offensively, you have Luis Robert, who the Dodgers look like they're not going to give an extension to. Maybe looking to deal him at the deadline. Doesn't make a ton of sense for us. We're already pretty log-jammed in the outfield, but an interesting name to watch here. William Contreras, not surprisingly, is on the block after, maybe they stupidly traded for him. I did notice that he wasn't going to start when I made that trade, but they did get Mazorsky in the trade, so they still did okay, even if Contreras isn't starting. Will Smith, he's now on the Braves. He's on the block. Rosarena doesn't really help us. Bo Bichette would be kind of a dream over at second base. Although his walk rate's pretty poor, the strikeout rate's up this year and the past few years. Not even been a league average hitter. Maybe we can get him cheap. J.P. Crawford's always an okay player. Wilmer Flores is the guy who intrigues me. Ooh. Jarren Duran hasn't done much. Wilmer Flores always intrigues me because he crushes lefties, and I don't know exactly how our stats are, but theoretically, I think we are probably a little bit worse against lefties. Although we're pretty balanced, only because Mitchell and Soto. Flores is the guy to look at. Jorge Polanco can play some second base. Jose Siri is always a guy I'm interested in picking up. Brennan Donovan, I guess, theoretically is an upgrade over there. Tyro Estrada. couple lower level names there. But yeah, that's kind of a look into where we might be here at the deadline. We'll come back and hopefully have some moves ready to make. Okay, so we have our first blockbuster. Geez, there's a lot of people here. We have an 8-4 trade here. And I actually threw in an extra guy because I didn't really think this was fair how it was. This is like one of those questionable ones where like, does this make any sense? But I'm going to go with it anyway. So we'll go with our return first. So Mackenzie Gore was a guy on the block. He's a free agent after the year, having a spectacular season, and was surprisingly like inexpensive by himself. The original trade was like Mackenzie Gore for Ethan Murray, Jorge Quintana, who's a guy a lot of teams love, and he's killed rookie ball for the past few years. And then like Noah Miller, I think, was another guy a lot of teams like. So it was those three for Mackenzie Gore. And then it kind of evolved from there, as you can see. So I was looking through their bullpens. We always need help. And I saw Cade Smith sitting here, real life Cleveland reliever. Looks like he was traded before the save like even officially started. For Brady Allen, who's now playing independent ball, and Steven Scott, who's now head of the league. So that was a total miss. But yeah, Cade Smith's a nice reliever. He's kind of like a juiced up version, or maybe just a better version of Trevor McGill, who we're sending back in this trade. It was kind of like a flip of those guys. So we added Smith, we threw in McGill. I was looking through some other guys. I like to look at the AAA roster and kind of see who's rotting down here. And I saw Isaac Pacheco. So I added him in. I was just going to go for Justin Henry Malloy as well, and that would have been, they would have done that deal. But then I saw Roderick Arias sitting down in Double-A. Looks like he made an appearance last year, a good portion. He had 200 at-bats. Didn't do too much, but has some really good upside with the glove. And they just have not promoted him up to AAA for some reason. Well, I know the reason, because the demotion and promotion in this game is kind of messed up. It's a little buggy still. It's been a while. That's been an issue, but I threw him in, and I was like, okay, like what do we need to throw in to get Roderick Arias on the team? So it took adding two guys, Sean Gamble, who was a first-round pick in 2025. He has the prospect pedigree. Has high work ethic, high leader, high intelligence, all that good stuff. He's 21 years old though, and has not hit an A ball at all this season. He's like moderately improved since the last time we checked in, but he still hasn't been really any good. I still think there's a future for him. And I think he could be a really nice player, but he just has not brought it for us yet. So I'm okay giving him up in that trade. He's probably like the biggest piece altogether here. Maybe Quintana, because a lot of teams like him. But Gamble was a guy, it's tough to give him up, especially like our second first round pick in the save. And then Filippo Dituri, a guy who's in the Brewers minor league system in real life. Got off kind of rocky start, had a good 2024 season in A-ball as like a 19-year-old, I guess, 18-year-old. And then the last 2 years, he's kind of, he's been okay in A and high A. And this year's absolutely crushed in high A. And, the results are excellent, but I don't know. This profile doesn't really do much for me. So I was okay giving him up as well. That was just for Arias. And then I threw in Isaac Pacheco, a guy I think could play third base for me right now, which is kind of what the plan is. So I threw him in, and they would have done that. And then I just threw in Geraldo Quintero just to kind of even things up a little bit. He's a nice player in Double-A. Can definitely play in the majors right now. Just doesn't really have positional home, which is why this is like, it's not a ton to give up, but it's something else. They would have done this trade without him. But, just to make things a little bit more even. So yeah, it's an 8-for-4. I mean, this is like about as blockbuster as it gets. So Mackenzie Gore, Cade Smith, Roderick Arias, Isaac Pacheco coming over for Ethan Murray. I didn't even mention him. 27-year-old, hasn't really done anything. Just kind of a career minor league type. Ethan Murray, Jose Quintana, Rosani Contreras, who I didn't talk about either for some reason. But, he's a real-life pitcher for the Angels. Signed him to a minor league deal this offseason. He's actually been quite good, or at least average in AAA. So this kind of gives them a starter to throw into the rotation in replace of Gore. Noah Miller, Trevor McGill, finally, saying goodbye to him. I think better days are probably ahead for him, but it just wasn't working out here. He only has 1 year of control after this, so not a huge deal. Sean Gamble, first-round pick in 2025. Filippo Di Turri, and Geraldo Quintero. So huge trade to open up this deadline period for us. And it does complicate things with our active roster. One quick thing we can do, we can send Arias, put him on the 40, send him to AAA. But we need room for Cade Smith and Isaac Pacheco, so that we're going to need to do a trade for McMahon, get him off this team, or maybe we just release him. I don't know what the market is for him. And then we need to get rid of a pitcher. So maybe Walker Buehler's involved in one of these trades. We could use him just for the start, though. And just move ahead a day. So let's throw Buehler. I mean, maybe he's good and makes us eat our words, and we wind up keeping him. But 42 loss. Not much offensively. Buehler wasn't horrible, so maybe he boosts his trade value a little bit. Hagen Smith, his first career appearance, really successful. Okay, so I'm going to look for more trades, try to clear up a roster spot for Smith and Pacheco. Maybe Pacheco just goes to AAA, but we still need 40-man space. We have one more spot. Yeah, we're going to go off camera. We'll be back in just a sec. Okay, so I just went and shopped around the twosome of Walker Buehler and Ryan McMahon. This was an interesting enough offer. David Santana, a long ways away, but in the Dominican League. Has some, decent upside. Not much defense, but, we'll see if we can get anything with the bat. And then Evan Blanco, 23-year-old lefty, has some decent tools. Good leader, good intelligence. Who knows? Maybe he can turn into something. But it's mostly just to clear Buehler and McMahon off the roster. McMahon, just has not been good this year. We have better options now. So, and then Buehler, it's been a really tough season for him. I think he can be better than this, but it's just not been pretty for us. So yeah, that'll clear up a couple 40-man spots for us. And yeah, I forgot he was a leader, a captain in this locker room, but yeah, we'll see. Any other draftees? Thomas Vargas. Offer him. And yeah, I got to go promote guys and everything right now. So let's just add these guys to the team. Evan Blanco can go to probably AA. I think he's definitely fine there. Okay, so we'll be back, do some promotions, demotions, look around for some more trades, and we'll see what we got when we come back. All right, so we have another trade lined up here. Just trying to improve the bullpen a little bit more. AJ Minter, one of the best arms on the market. Really, really struggling this season for the Diamondbacks. They're in a win-now mode, so they're looking to, pick up some positions of need. One of those being backup catcher right now. Mitch Garver is their backup. He's had a handful of plate appearances, actually been pretty good, but doesn't bring much defense. So we're going to send Nick Fortes over to them. A guy we signed to a minor league deal this offseason and absolutely crushed AAA. So I expect him to step in as their backup catcher. That's kind of the main component of this deal. I threw in Cooper Bowman, a nice little prospect here. We claimed him off waivers a couple of years back, and actually he's hit pretty well. I guess that was just this offseason, or right after last season ended. Yeah, that was right after last season ended. He hit really well in AAA this year, but I just don't have a spot for him. And then we're also going to throw in Brian Abreu eating 55% of his contract. This did not work out. His stats on the year are actually pretty good, but or at least not horrible. But I just don't really have a spot for him anymore. He doesn't throw hard. This is just a bust of a signing. Unfortunately, he regressed immediately. Also going to throw in Andrew Pintar. for eating some of that contract. A guy who's hit really well in high A this season. Signed him as minor league free agent, so capitalizing on his value. I was going to pick up Jake Cousins, a dude who was on the team back in 2025. He was a Rule 5 pick by us. He wound up getting returned after throwing 42 innings for us. Pitched in the majors last year for Arizona and was quite good. So, at the very least, he's like a guy we can turn to if we need to. But he is a free agent after the year as well as Minter. So, this is the trade. So we're going to pull that one off. This bullpen slowly but surely looking a little bit better day by day. So we'll send Cousins to AAA for now. That gives us like a legit closer. Even if Minter hasn't been good this season, I really like him in that role. And that can push Abner Uribe into like a lower leverage, but still use more often type of role. I want him and... Do I trust Alex Vesia at this point? I think I do. So we're going to use those two a little bit more often. Cabrera's been good, but I just don't trust him, quite frankly. Brian Wu, another guy. He's been fine, but don't really trust him. And Hagen Smith's still young. So we'll, these will be our main 5 guys here. And I like this. The only other real glaring hole is DL Hall in the rotation. Is this going to work out? That's going to be like a deadline decision and getting up to that point. So, the lineup looks pretty good. We have Pacheco in there every day. He's played one game and played really well. Had an extra base hit, a couple of hits. So far, so good with him. And that pushes Abrams into like a super utility role in the infield, which is a spot I definitely prefer him in, where he can kind of use his versatility. And, he's going to play quite a bit at third base, second base, a little bit more third base against lefties, but a little bit more second base against righties. I don't know if Marte's been worse against... Yeah, he's been bad against both, but, we'll see what happens here. That's pretty much what it's going to come down to. We have all the pieces. Everyone's playing pretty damn well. Like, our lineup of our main guys, Noelvi Marte is the only, below league average hitter. But, Abrams is, basically a starter in the role that he plays. So, that kind of offsets each other. And then, Kiro's our worst actual everyday player, and he plays great defense. Correa's been great. The rest of this lineup's been awesome. We'll see what we get from Pacheco. And, we're going to keep moving forward to the deadline and see what we're looking at that point. Okay, one last trade. Most likely. So we did have one injury. It was to Alex Vesia. Went out for the rest of the season, partially torn UCL. So one of our high leverage guys is kind of gone. And instead of going and get a reliever, I'm going a little, a bit of a different path. So Carlos Rodon, call me Yankees homer, whatever. Not having a good season, but he's due a lot of money the next 2 years. We're going to get the Yankees to retain 85% of this. Can I even go up to 90? How much do I want to save? A couple bucks. Raul Vera is kind of expendable. Cody Schreier hasn't really developed. But he's still, I still think he can maybe turn things around. Yeah, at the end of the day, this is going to be about $4 million for him this season and next season. There's a chance this blows up in my face and I wash down $4 million next year, but I think this is worth the risk, getting a starter in here. So this would enable us to move DL Hall to the bullpen, which, it maybe is a better fit for him with his control issues and everything. And, he hasn't pitched well at all this year. He's walked 5 guys per 9. The home runs are way up. So that's going to move him into basically Alex Vesia's role. And it gives us a real starter to take his place. And, there's other guys we have in our minor league system that might work. And, if he sucks, then we'll just get rid of him and whatever. But we're not giving up much. Yasel Antuna picked him up before the season in that, what's his name? Blake Perkins trade. Yeah, he didn't play very well in the majors this year. What we're giving up him, Jacob Amaya. Not a bad player, but he was a minor league free agent signing. Shane Baz, another minor league free agent signing. He has some upside for sure, but yeah, I just don't really love him. And then Travis Honeyman, who's just been on this team forever, it feels like, and has just never really developed. He's been in Double-A for the last 3 seasons, hasn't really hit. We got him in a trade in 2025. I don't even remember what trade that was. That was the Carlos Correa trade. We got him with Carlos Correa. Sal Frelick, by the way, has been pretty bad since we traded him, so we definitely made the right decision with Garrett Mitchell. Also got Logan Henderson in that deal. He hasn't been anything. And then Will Rudy, who's still developing, doesn't look too bad. But anyway, Honeyman, another guy in this trade. And then we'll be paying Carlos Rodon like, what is that? A little over $4 million. It's worth a risk, I think. He's still got some juice. The numbers don't look great this year, but he's wrecked too, which, this could blow up in our face at any second. But I love Carlos Rodon, so even though he's not been great for my Yankees this year, or at least in the postseason, he was good in the regular season. He had a great regular season, actually. Very slept on how good he was this year. Just unfortunate that his first World Series start was just batting practice for the Dodgers. And I'm filming this. It's about 20 minutes till game 5. So, yeah, not looking great for the Yankees, but looking good for the Brewers, the fictional Brewers here. I do need to open up a 40-man spot. Shoot. I don't really want to lose any of these guys. Maybe I just DFA Cole Reagans. I don't think anyone's going to claim him. Maybe they do. Anyone want him for a prospect or something? No. Okay, so he'll probably pass their waivers. If he gets claimed, whatever. Okay, so we'll add Rodon. Deal Hall can move. I mean, I love him in like a 7th inning role. Yeah, that really deepens this bullpen a ton. I mean, this is pretty excellent. This is about as good of a bullpen as we've had in the series. And this rotation looks really good, too. We'll see how long Rodon lasts, but I have a good feeling about this. I don't know. Call me crazy. But, yeah, we're going to go up to the deadline. Hopefully that's the last deal. There's no more injuries. We should be good to go. So we'll be back. Okay, so we're here at the deadline. Our stats for July, not pretty, 12-12, but I think we'll be much better moving forward. As for the trade acquisitions, Rodon was pretty good in his first start, not good in his second one. He had 3 home runs, yikes. And I should check out All-Stars because I didn't even look at that. I saw that Gavin Stone made it. Check the All-Star rosters. There's the AL. Shane McClanahan. Did we have him in this? Yeah, we did. Yeah, he sucked. Oh, jeez. That figures, right? Holy crap. He's been insane. He was so bad last year. Tariq Skubal, guy we almost traded for. Nah, almost traded for is a stretch, but we were in discussions to trade for him. Then the NL, George Kirby makes it. Okay. Yeah, he definitely deserved it last year. Maybe not this year, but whatever. He makes the All-Star team. And Gavin Stone, of course. What a great year for him, man. He's been spectacular in his first year, getting a real chance. Zach Wheeler made it. My God, what the hell is even that? I mean, I get there's some fan influence in these. I mean, he was hurt and he wasn't even good. Like, he was actually like a flat out like horrible player. Whatever. I guess he's an all-star. Get past that. Taijuan Walker makes the all-star team. My God. No relievers for us. At catcher, Drew Roma, man, he's sick. Rafael Devers now with San Francisco. Wow, he got traded there in 2025. He got traded for Jordan Hicks and Chase Burns. Chase Burns is an okay prospect, but Jordan, really? That was the trade? Okay. He's an all-star at first base. Christian Encarnacion Strand, a guy we actually almost traded for. We could have traded for this offseason. I decided it was a little cheesy. He's an all-star. Brock Wilken, there you go. First all-star team for Brock. He's been incredible this season. A huge part of our offense. Zeke Tovar playing second base now? Who the heck took over at shortstop? Ryan Ritter, really? That's unfortunate. I don't know why they wouldn't. Travis Bassana at first base. Oh my God, this team is just a disaster. Drew Romo's a really great player though. Love to get him on this team. That'll never happen. But Tovar, all-star at second. No one else in the infield. Not too surprising. The infield has been outside of Wilken, has been a rough spot. Although, I don't know. Maybe you could argue Carlos Correa at shortstop over Lawler or Mason Wynn, but both those guys are really good players. Jackson Churio makes it in left field despite missing a bunch of time. He's been awesome. No doubt about that. And Jazz Chisholm, his first year in Philly, has gone extremely well. Continues to play excellent ball. Juan Soto out in right field /DH makes it, and Shohei Ohtani at DH. It's funny. He's actually been a really bad pitcher, which isn't surprising. I feel like this happens a lot in this game, where Ohtani's just not a good pitcher, but he's still a really great hitter. So, they're recouping some of that value, and he was also not making $70 million like he is in real life, which kind of ticks me off. But, of course, all of that's deferred, so I don't know exactly where they got the $46 million. I just wish the Dodgers were kind of screwed with that contract, but they're not. It's really not that bad. Not even that much more than Soto's making. That's the All-Stars. We have quite a few this year after maybe only having one last season. That'll be the episode and the deadline, and I think this team's looking pretty solid coming into the playoffs. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.